Welcome back to Transport Fever. So this is my Sandbox map that I'm working on. If you don't know what we're doing here, or what I'm doing here, I am trying to make the best looking map that I possibly can. So I've called it the big build. Unlimited money, so I don't have to worry about making money from any of the lines. And I can basically just build what I like. So what I'm trying to do in this episode is make a brand new oil line. The reason I've got to do that, so as you can see I've got an oil facility there. Now it gets oil from down the river by boat, which is perfectly fine and works perfectly okay, but it doesn't bring enough oil quick enough up to the oil facility. So that has a knock-on effect of the fuel doesn't get enough oil, and then doesn't obviously create enough fuel. So what I thought I'd do is create a brand new crude oil line that's going to bring crude oil into this part here, and then from here we'll take it by truck to the oil facility. So what I wanted to do with this is, instead of having kind of multiple lines and multiple tracks all over the place, is I'll try and bring them all into one track. So we've got the first of the stations there, so I think it's got 2, 4, 6, 8. So that's got 8 tracks on it, so we probably won't end up using all 8 tracks for the oil, or for the crude oil. And down towards the south of the map, here, we've got, so there's one crude oil refinery there. I think it's a refinery, I can't remember if they are a refinery, but anyway. So to begin with, I'm probably just going to put a train bringing the oil from that place there. And this is going to be the centre track, so this is just going to be a track straight into the station that we've just built, the 8 station. So these are all going as well, all the roads. So this is the second one. And that will connect up to the one that we've just built. And I placed the third one down here. So this road that I put in there will eventually get deleted as well, but you'll see that later on, I think. So the rail, or the track, is going to go from there all the way to the other station. So the factories and stuff that we don't need are going along with the roads. So what I will do later as well is just come back and replace any of the roads that I need to, so the cities and stuff aren't shouted at me. So that is the main track that is going to connect up to the huge station. So this will probably have quite a few trains going up and down it eventually. And we'll double track it, because like I say, because of the amount of trains that are probably going to go up and down it, we don't want any of them to get stuck. What this is going to do then is branch off to go to the other crude oil facility. So that's just over there. Like so. Plenty of tunnels. Don't want to do bridges kind of at that point. So doing it like this will mean that we can put plenty of different trains going backwards and forwards to there. And what we'll then do is do another branch going off to the other station. So that is just going to go like so. So what I may do eventually is come back and just tidy all these bits up. So where it cuts into the ground, I might just come and smooth all that off. Although I do quite like it when it gets like a bank at either side of the track, like that. I think it looks quite good. So we'll just put the signals in here, wanted to try and make it so that the centre track, that the train doesn't have to stop at all, and it will just go backwards and forwards. And then the ones where it branches off, they have to wait before they join the main track. So because later on I'm also going to see, or you're going to see me join up some other industries, I wanted to make sure that you could get to every single track along the station from that main line. So as you can see, that's just joining all them up. I will figure out a way at some point of making these look much nicer. Because at the minute they're a bit of a mess. I'm hoping somebody has made a video where they look quite good, so I can maybe copy a little bit. But for now, that will look pretty good. So because I've deleted the roads, I am going to have to replace them as well at some point. So as you can see there, that's actually a mod for the pumping station bit. So I think it looks pretty good for the fuel and the oil and things like that. We're just going to do a line straight into the oil facility and add some tankers on there. So probably just going to use the regular ones for now. And there we go. So do find that the truck stop does get filled up with oil quite quickly, so later on I do come back and add another line there. And then we just add the train line in. So the train line is going to go just, like I say, between the two for the minute, just until it kind of gets up and running. I'll come and add more trains in if I need it. So this always seems to happen. I always manage to mess something up and it goes backwards and forwards on the same line. So here all I've done is not made it possible to go from one track to the other. So once I added that in, it kind of fixed that. Train depot just there. And so the train we're going to go for is the one that I've kind of used the most anyway. Quite like the look of that one, so get 2 of them and then set it running. And there we go, as it comes out the depot. So we've just tidied some of the roads up. Still not brilliant at making these across the tracks, but that doesn't look too bad, I don't think. I don't like crossings either across the track. I'd much rather have either a tunnel or a bridge. So that's why I keep deleting them out. Kind of make a little bit of a mess of this one, so that one doesn't look great. I may come back and do that bridge at some point. But for now, that will stop. In fact, I don't think they are. The cities aren't actually moaning about the roads being broken, so but I might as well. Well, I have replaced them anyway, so it shouldn't cause any issue. So the first the first tankers are turning up already. No oil there, obviously, but that should be fine. And what I will do at some point is come back and just make these look a bit nicer. Maybe put some fences around and some other kind of tanks and things like that. So for this second part, I'm actually going to start building the iron facilities. But what I wanted to do is actually put it into a mountain. So first, there isn't really any mountains on this map, so I've got to actually create it first. So I'm using the terrain settings here to build the mountain. Now the terrain settings are a bit on the slow side, so what I've done is try and speed this up as much as possible, so you're not sitting through me just making changes. I did try and kind of put the stuff in like so, hoping to speed things up, but and it did speed things up a little bit, but probably not quite enough. But hopefully you can see kind of what I'm trying to do there. So I'm trying to get, so what I'm going to have 2 iron ore facilities, just so I can create as much iron as I possibly can. So we're going to have one next to each other. So the placement first didn't quite work out, and I wanted to kind of have them in a kind of a bit of a, almost like a cove. So I ended up deleting them. So to begin with, I put one that way. Later on I actually move it, and because where I end up putting the station, it couldn't quite reach the back, so it didn't link up to that one. So I ended up turning it round. As you can see, it's quite slow. This is on 4 times speed and it's still quite slow. So what I'm going to do is skip forward, as you can see, and this is what it ends up looking like. And then I'm going to skip forward again so we can just see that I've painted all of it and get to the interesting part. So if you want a bit more of a look at the mountain and how I created it, just let me know in the comments. But it's not really that interesting. So what I then wanted to do is put a road up. Well, I need to put a road up, otherwise it won't connect to the iron facilities. So this is probably the part where I had a bit of trouble. Yeah. So as you can see there, that they're both as they were. The way round they were. So I needed to change that. As you can see there, that I don't think that picked any of them up. So I move it a bit closer, and then it still only picked one of them up. So I had no choice but to move it round. So we're going to have a road that kind of just goes up when I get to it. So here we are. So it is good that that actually cut into the to the side quite nicely. So as you can see there, it's only picking one up, which is no good. So try and put a road around the other edge just to see if that did it. But nope, that didn't do it either. So the whole thing ends up going. Well, it does do in a second. So what I thought it might work is if you put a road a bit close to it, it still looks like it's connecting. But that didn't work either. So the whole lot just goes. I got fed up of playing that game. So by just turning it round, it just makes it so it all connects up properly. I did still want to try and keep the road all the way around though, just kind of, it doesn't really do anything, but I thought it looked a bit nicer. So as you can see, even though I did that, it still didn't work. So the road had to move. So all that needed deleting. So once I'd done that, as you can see now, or as you will see in a second, it does all connect anyway, so it's all perfectly fine now, and everything seems to be working okay. What I want to do is not have a bridge, so I probably could have made a bridge that goes straight down, but I didn't think that would look very good. So instead, what I've done is kind of make it so it actually goes on solid ground. Then just slowly makes its way down. This is going to connect up with the oil facility that we created earlier. So the oil facility is going to be the station that takes all the oil in. So this actually joins up to the track that is on the oil refineries, crude oil refineries. Again, we'll double track it round. So at this point I was creating all this and I hadn't actually thought where I'm going to take all this stuff, because I haven't actually got a steel facility anywhere. So what I've actually decided is that the steel industry is going to go over near the Liverpool city, which is actually all the way across the other side of the map. But where possible, I'm going to try and use existing lines. So I'll probably work on the iron facility in the next episode. Because I think we also need to take coal. So I'm also going to do the coal, I think, on the next episode. So what I wanted to do once I'd put these tracks in is join it all up and kind of make it so it looked like it was a slope up and down, and it was kind of almost a natural part of the mountain. So what I'd like to do is give this mountain a name. So I thought I would hand that over to you guys. So if you've got any suggestions on what the mountain should be called, why not drop them in the comments below, and I will try and pick one. Obviously there are going to be some rules. We don't want anything rude. We just want a nice name for a mountain. So like I say, drop them in the comments below. If I like one, I'll go and pick it, and you'll have your very own mountain named after you in the game. So what I'm going to do is just finish smoothing this out so it looks all nice. So that's the track anyway, almost done. It's kind of just a few last minute or last adjustments. Like I say, what I wanted to try and do is make it look as natural as possible. So it probably does need lifting in a couple of more areas. What we also need to do is join the road up. So the road's actually going to come down there. And I probably could have just done one big straight road, but that's not very interesting. So what I've done is kind of made it snake round, which just makes it look a little bit more interesting. I kind of figured that's how you would have it as well on a road going up to somewhere like that. So it does still cut into the ground quite a bit. So to begin with, that does look a little bit rubbish, but what I'm going to do in a second is just come back and smooth all that out. Just so it looks like it's kind of always been there. And maybe just add in a few more tweaks to the ground. So I think it kind of is starting to look like somewhere that would exist in real life. The only thing I've not added in yet is trees, so I will probably have to come back at some point and add some trees. I do like some nice trees. But that's actually looking pretty good. So I was going to delete the trees there, but then figured that it was going to take me ages to delete them all, so I just left them. I think they look pretty good anyway. So that's the end of this episode. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to give the video a like and subscribe. I have Facebook and Twitter. Why not head over there? The links are in the description below. And we'll see you next time.